All right, and we are live. Welcome back to the Bounty Hunters. Tonight we are doing what?
Episode 4 through 6 review, super review of Mandalorian.
Super review.
Yeah,
The
quick.
Mandalorian. If you like this, you can always catch us here every night, 7:30 God's time, 8:30 the others time. Wednesday, this is what we do. We either do review of TV shows or we deep dive into some characters, which we haven't deep dived in a while because there's so many TV shows out right now.
Yeah, they had to release 2 at once. But thankfully after this, there won't be anything for. No, there will be. But it won't be. It won't be truly like a week-to-week review.
There won't be anything from what I've seen, thanks to the Star Wars Celebration, that I want to watch for the next 45 years. So, other than Ahsoka,
that's a lie. That's a lie. What are you talking about there?
I'm gonna watch every single second of it, but I won't be happy. I'll have my arms crossed.
Are you sure? We'll see.
All right,
anyways.
Let's go. Yeah. All right. So let's just kick it off. So I figured what we do, obviously, we're going to start off with episode 4, and we can just do our what worked and what didn't work.
So remind everyone, episode 4 was the Foundling, and that was the episode focused on Grogu and the encampment.
So, Kachung, what worked for you and what didn't work for you?
So the start didn't work for me. It was a little lame, that all that fighting scene, like the training. It was almost like watching Monty Python. The medieval fighting scenes. But I mean, I did like it when he said, then perhaps this lesson is for you then. When he said that to the kid.
Yeah.
I thought that was a neat little jab. I loved the Naboo yacht ship.
I
think they're called the Naboo yacht. I looked it up.
But the Naboo yacht, that's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. But I just wondered who sent that. Who sent that to pick them up? And was it Padme maybe? Ahead of time, you know? Who knows?
Like into the future, she just okay.
I know she's dead by now, but she maybe had a sense and you knew what was going on. But the gunships were neat, and it was cool seeing the Jedi Temple burning.
Yeah, that's
not cool as in yay, that's great. It's burning. But it's
a little dark. A little dark watching, knowing that all those younglings in there getting crispy. I thought that was real cool. That's a little dark, but
hey, popcorn, you know.
That's a word for you.
That's about all the notes I have. That's my notes.
All right, Casper, what worked for you in this?
Thinking about younglings burning and dying inside the temple.
That's what worked for me. We are 3 for 3.
No, I is a weird one. God, going hindsight, looking back at the episode, definitely the flashback was probably the highlight for sure. There was some strange choreography, but I did like the chase through Coruscant. That was probably my favorite part. Seeing the Naboo was awesome. I was like more and more of having fun with that. And the actual stuff with the Mandalorians, I mean, I think being at the Armorer was probably the best part, where the Armorer's talking to Grogu and working away on some stuff. That was probably the good moment for me, but otherwise it was kind of sparse for the episode and like highlights. Mostly everyone talks about the flashback and
right, of course.
Is that it?
Highlight wise, yeah.
What didn't work for you?
The choreography was really off. The episode in the temple, the Mandalorians at the beginning. As we went back and looked at the scene, I was laughing because they're shooting their blasters and rockets out into the water for practice, right? There's no targets out there, and they just go let loose like crazy, as if there's recoil on their blasters they work on. You know, you could have been a couple of probe droids or like training droids floating around to shoot at, but
they make cool splash noises.
Yeah.
It's
the weird so them having to go save his suddenly Vizsla's child that he didn't really care about seemingly at first. Like, he wasn't so urgent about it until he got there.
He
and
sure
then
didn't seem like he cared.
Yeah, and then they did the whole thing to get there, and then it was weird. I mean, like, it was a weird episode. I think it should have just been they could have been part of a different episode. I felt like it was 33 minutes. It was the shortest episode of the.
It was disappointing.
It didn't feel short. I'm gonna tell you right now, it
didn't feel short. Yes, it was the shortest.
Especially when I'm back and watched it again, it did feel short.
So yeah, middle
awesome.
of the road.
All right, so I have a few things, and mine might not be. I guess it's just kind of what I would like to see. Maybe there's a budgetary reasonings why on some of these. I love seeing that they're practicing. Like, I love the idea of them practicing. I just don't think it was executed well. Like, I think that could have been a really awesome scene. I mean, if you want to talk about Dave, going and looking for the wife afterwards, if he had 45 Boba Fett's looking people out there just destroying a whole mountainside, he could never be disappointed ever again in Star Wars. But instead, it looked kind of hokey, like he said. At this point, I think if they're gonna do any more with Grogu, we gotta go CGI, boys. The throwing the puppet in the air thing, that's ridiculous. That looks like me and my son made that video in our house or something. It looked weird.
Now, there's something I want to bring up quickly before we get into the rest of the episodes, which makes sense as the more we talk about them. It does feel very heavy, as if Grogu was not supposed to be there in the first place. He was ridden back in. Like, he doesn't do anything really, except for this moment here, or like when he goes against Bo-Katan. The rest feels like he was ridden in, like he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
When the reports are, I mean, obviously we're not there in the meetings. They haven't invited me yet. I don't understand why, but Disney invited me.
The Zoom calls are coming, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, and the reports are that they kind of forced the Grogu situation in because they were worried about ratings, and so they made Grogu and them get back together faster than they had planned on it. And if you don't know, the only way you know that he was training with Luke for 3 years is because of an interview, not because the TV show has told us. So, like, that's more evidence that he might have been forced in. I did want to point out that the rocks that he was playing with were actually crabs. The moment he was carried off,
that was fun.
They went back into the water. So I think that's maybe foreshadowing that he has a connection with living creatures. That could be something
like the butterflies.
Yeah. The other problem is that I guess it's storytelling, or you're trying to make something compelling, but then you just make people look bad. Like, I think my idea of what a Mandalorian is based on video games and nerdom. Maybe people are trying to tell stories, so you have to make them, I understand, a little bit vulnerable. But the fact that Mandalorian children, and now we know that some of them are the actual birth children, are being eaten by a big bird, and they just keep allowing it to happen, and they don't go looking for it. They've never found it. Like, he flew off that way somewhere. Like, fucking look for him. Like
the one time it after the first time it happened, you're like, okay, we need to get rid of this.
You gotta. I know she said he flew really far away, but go look for him. Like, we sent a team out, they never came back, so we don't know what to do. Like, tell me some reason why you haven't gone hunting.
Do they have any spaceships? Like,
they had their, what's it called? They had a handful.
Well, when the later on in the other episode, when the X-wing fighter comes and talks to him, he says, "We don't have any ships." Like, so how did you know we were here? Like,
how did they get?
I don't know.
Get there when they left?
I've heard him say it 3 times. Like, so I've watched 3 times. All 3 times, I'm like, how are they getting back and forth between planets? So I don't know what the story is there. Uber? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, no, they weren't there between our planet. But like, how did they get there from the other one when I guess they lost the ships, but like,
I guess
because they had to use Bo-Katans or Mandalorians to get around.
That's true. Yeah, so maybe they didn't have that's. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. That's really strange.
Maybe eventually they'll get the armor to make one. Because I mean, she's making all these weapons because they've been practicing so much. They've been using up all their weapons.
You know what? It was weird because I feel like when the show first started, she was just kind of there, and the more the show goes on, the more it's really clear that she's like the unquestioned leader. Like and I feel like they were really pushing that at first. She was just kind of like a storyteller, and now she's like unquestionably the leader. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting over illness, so I'm going to be coughing.
It's really like she was an elder of like a tribe at first, and now she's like the actual de facto leader, right? But
Yeah.
I do. Well, obviously they are leading to things with her too. Like they're setting up like who is this person as well. Like she knows more stuff than technically she leads on.
And I'll just go over some other ones really quick. Running out of fuel, seeing them actually run out of fuel, I thought was just really cool. It just kind of made me giggle.
Yeah.
Like I never even thought about that they're not long range, obviously. They were quick to not question why they were following Bo-Katan. I thought that was kind of surprising. She was like, "You're in charge of the war party." They're like, "Yeah, sure." Nobody was like, "Who is this jackass?" Like they were just like, "Okay, we'll do that." I liked how they did explain how they eat, because I did actually thought that was weird. Like it came across my mind one time. When does he eat? And they're like, "No, you got to go find somewhere quietly." I thought that was a nice touch. I had the feeling that Bo-Katan really wanted to be the one that saved that kid. Like I feel like she was really pushing hard to be the one that actually grabbed him. And I thought it was interesting how she just completely ignored the fact that she said, "I saw a mythosaur." I thought that was interesting. That was
That was funny. I thought she covered it on purpose. She was like, I'm going to pretend like you're crazy and keep that to myself as well."
And then, like I
Okay,
said, the
Grandma.
only other thing I would talk about is although I like the armor because I think she's a good actress and I think she tells the story really well, and I like her vibe, I guess. I liked her talking about it. The flashback was cool, but the damn piece of armor she made was the corniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That was hilarious. The
That
little
shield that
medallion.
covers his entire body was the silliest thing I've ever
Did
seen.
he have it on him too the whole time?
I guess it's around his chest. I don't know. It was silly.
I wonder how much that weighs. How many grams does that weigh?
Too much. I can tell you that. And then
Although,
going back to the thing.
Wait, what's it?
I'm sorry.
I was just saying that the clan Mudhorn, I guess, was kind of cool as far as the armor goes. That's that creature, and they killed one in the first season.
Yeah.
They're Mudhorn.
Of all the names, I'm sure I should know, but of all the names of all the Mandalorian ones, I wonder if anything is as interesting as Mudhorn. Like I just wonder. That didn't really sound
because it's funny. Like actually at the end of this, see what you're gonna say first, and then I'll bring this up.
All right. So what I was gonna say was, as soon as the actor who plays Jar Jar Binks, because we did an episode of Darth Jar Jar, I recognized him immediately. When we did that episode, I actually watched a lot of interviews with him. Mm-hmm. He seems like a genuine guy who likes Star Wars and was kind of hurt that he was treated the way he was. So when they gave him this opportunity, which I know they did a TV show with him too, but
they had a TV show with him as that character.
When they gave him this opportunity, I was like giggy. I was like, they gave Jar Jar a chance. And my son was like, "That's not Jar Jar." And I was like, "Okay, I'll explain to you later. Just be quiet." However, what I was telling him is now this live action, because it's not the whole season is not filmed to me like it's on a movie. It's filmed to me like it's a TV show, and it's sometimes so like high definition looking that it takes me out of reality a little bit. And what I said was, when you make a movie, you have like 2 years to get trained by a person who's a professional fight choreogrator, and he shows you how to hold a sword. When you just say, "Hey, fella, you want to jump in here and be a Jedi really quick," and you give him a couple weeks notice, it's noticeable to me. Like it looks like Kachung here is a great builder of cosplay. And if he gave me a cosplay and I didn't know I was even going to get to have one, he says, "Now go out in that lobby and be your best Jedi," I would look ridiculous. I would be like overselling it and making all kinds of weird motions. And I really feel like that's what I watch sometimes when they do these quick Jedi cutscenes. Like those people clearly don't have the same training as like the movie Jedis, if that makes sense. So that would be our only kind of takeaway from that. Is it was super cool, but sometimes it kind of takes me out of the whole thing when you see the and obviously any chase scene through Coruscant is going to have my nerdum going off, even though I thought it was very bold to openly use ships that the Empire knows what that ship is and who it's from, with the guards from that place shooting back at the guards. I thought was very bold and interesting, and I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I was like, wow, that's a pretty bold move. But like you said, maybe Padme sent him in early and was like, "Hey, I have a feeling I know somebody who might need your help."
Yeah, just in case the Jedis need rescuing.
That was episode 4.
4.
And overall, what did you think about it? Did you give it if you had to give it out of a 10, you don't have to spend too much time with it, just a quick.
like maybe a 5.6. It's
Yeah.
middle of the road.
For what it could have been, it should have been like an 8 without a problem.
That's the thing.
But the execution kind of takes it down to like a 6 or 7 to me.
I had to step away for a second. I was saying, so that when the armor goes to make Bo-Katan a shoulder piece, and it's like, oh well, everyone is entitled to like, oh, do you want me to do your night owl for you, as that is your animal patriarch or whatever? And it's like, oh well, can I get a mythosaur? And it's like, well, every Mandalorian is earning a mythosaur. Like that's like. That's the default option you have when you pick your icon in a game.
Yeah. When you create a character, you don't do default character. Come on.
But I laugh because he's that, right? And then you had so that makes it interesting that I'm like, so there's others. Obviously, you pick you have to earn your other one, but that's your default, right? So like you had all those Mandalorians there. I wonder if any of them earned the that what's that thing called? The bird that they attacked, like the pterodactyl kind of bird.
Oh,
or
yeah.
The ginormous gator.
Yeah, if you haven't had one yet. Yeah, that's interesting.
For the gator, I wonder if they earned one of those by chance.
And I will say, though, we're obviously going to see it soon. But what I will say is, like, it didn't dawn on me until I went back and watched it because I knew we were doing all 3 of these. That I did not notice that the armorer is, like, so quick to say, like, hey, Bo-Katan, you want me to do the night owl thing? Because it wasn't well received, the night owls. So it's like, and so I didn't realize how fast she was kind of like, hey, whatever, you want me to put this on there for you? Whenever, considering who she's hanging out with, I mean, because Vizsla wasn't a big fan of her. And when she walked in, he was like, oh, hi, little owl. Like he kind of talked trash a little bit.
Right.
And so, later on, when we go down the line of the TV shows here, you're going to see that, like, that was when I went back and rewatched it. I was like, oh, it didn't even dawn on me that she was so quick to say, hey, do you want me to put an owl on here? Like, it wasn't that big of a deal to her, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I gave it a 7.6. So
yeah, can't be disappointed. So that's
you. We know you. We know you could.
I saw somebody talking the other day on a video in the comment section. There was one guy that was like, "Hey, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but at least we get videos." And I was like, "That doesn't say Kachung on there. Like, who does he have an alternate account? Like that sounds like perfect. It's a perfect."
At least we're getting content.
At least we're getting content. Like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but at least we get something to watch.
That as if it doesn't degrade other stuff, by getting new things.
All right, so episode 5. What do you think?
Episode 5, The Pirate, was actually very good. Probably my second favorite episode this season. Ooh. I thought it was great action, great effects, fun, very fun, and definitely utilized everyone the best they could be here. And the resolution at the end too made sense, and I thought it worked really well for the that's back to what Grief was talking about, giving them land. Now they have a place to set up an actual place where they can interact with everyone else and start building up their own,
and
while also working as technically the defense of that town, so they can hone their abilities better.
And it wasn't just purely because they're like, hey, we appreciate you saved our asses. We're about to get our fields salted and our land burned. It was simply, if we can get you to stay here, you're going to defend it.
No one's going to mess with you. We're not going to have any more guys come by.
It was a very cool thing because it was obviously not simply because they were so overjoyed that they helped them. Like,
it was layered and it was great. And I thought they did a great job everywhere else in that episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. And overall, just good. Just really good.
I would just say, historically speaking, offering to bring in a group that is more powerful than you militarily and saying, hey, settle here with us because they're going to help defend it. It never works out for the people in the long run. It never, ever works out for them. Eventually, the military people are like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? We could just take it. Like, why are we?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it never works out in the long run, historically speaking. This is Star Wars. Maybe it's different.
They get to have all the shitty land they want.
Yeah, you can have all. And when he announced it, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was basically the lava fields up until like poor man's pot. Like it didn't sound like it was like the glorious green fields of Mini. Like it didn't sound like that. It kind of sounded like the shit. Like you're getting all the crap over.
It looked like Mordor.
All right, so what did you think about it, Kachung?
There wasn't really anything in that episode that was awful like most of the others. There was I'd be a bit nitpicky, but they
Please
were, fighting in the town, right? And they were boxed in, but they have these things on their back, which they use quite often to fly around and get out of, situations. So I think they could have used
Yeah.
them there, but I guess they chose to stay
I'm
boxed
glad you
in.
They
noticed
forgot
because
to
I was
refuel
thinking
when they left. They're like, oh, we
Right.
left the gas at home.
when they're all hiding behind the corner where the guy above them was shooting, which would not be that shouldn't be a good place to be with Mandalorians above them shooting down. And in one
Right.
scene, right before they all started hiding around the corner, one guy did a super punch. Like he literally used his super pack to punch a
Yeah.
guy. And I was like, if you just held the button a little bit longer, you'd float up and be at that same level and take that guy out instead of like hiding around the corner and shooting. Like so I'm glad you said it because I thought that too. I was like, that's kind of
Yeah. It was pretty cool though, like them
It
just
was.
flying around and coming in and landing together.
Doing their thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I really love the end scene where they were scanning that Imperial shuttle. It took me
Oh
back
yes,
to
I
really
forgot
cool.
about that too.
yeah,
was
it took me back
really
to
cool, actually.
Aliens. Really.
I don't know if the
I know
same director.
I know Kachin's score now after he said that right there.
If I don't know if the same director recorded that last part, they recorded the rest of it, but it seemed like it was a totally different person because it was done so well. Like it was
So
done so well.
I'm really curious with that. Okay, so there's two aspects to that, right? To that ending there. That because they mentioned, this Beskar that opened it up, right? There's
Yeah.
two things. There's obviously it's either some Mandalorian thing or B, is it the Dark Troopers they're talking about?
I
Potentially.
don't know.
Because the Dark Troopers had the Beskar alloy on them. Like not
I
full
mean, the
Beskar,
guy who
but-
scanned it probably doesn't know about the Dark Troopers, I assume. So he just thinks it's Mandalorians.
Well, do they? Because wasn't the Dark Troopers pretty well known when the Rangers like basically arrested
Have you
him?
not been paying attention to the way they've been treating the New Republic? They don't seem
Yeah,
to know
you know
their
what?
ass
That's
is doing.
true.
They can't find their ass with both hands. Like I don't know
That's
what you're
true.
talking about. They couldn't figure anything out. Anything
I
else?
think
Kachin?
the editing in this was really good. Stitching it all together and obviously seeing Zeb was really cool.
There, I was just gonna say I forgot this was the episode that had that like the New Republic stuff in there again, which looks good. And when meeting Zeb again for the first time in like, but I was entirely surprised by the fact that they did him. I didn't think they would do it in live action.
Hey, if you had told me he was going to be in there beforehand, I would have been horrified because you could have screwed that up pretty
How
bad.
the hell do you make that look anything good?
It looked okay, man.
Yeah, they did a good job.
That concept art they used the concept art for the Chewbacca for Wookiees as like the Zeb, the new species. Yeah.
No, but that was something that I was going to mention, but I already mentioned too many things that they just
So the
don't chew them.
So the Zeb species was supposed to be like where they originally the concept art for the Wookiees and they didn't use them. And I presume they didn't use them because like how the hell do we make this thing work? And they don't.
Yeah.
Right. So them deciding to let's see if we can try and get this to work in live action. And yeah, that's the only way to do a full CGI. You couldn't do a costume.
I was surprised how good it looked too. Like I was very concerned. But it looked really good.
It kind of looked better than the cartoon.
Okay. Well, shockingly, I'm gonna have I'll have a couple negatives. I know it's gonna surprise everyone. I'm actually enjoying the high magistrate. I actually think he's doing a pretty good job.
Best character.
I'm actually really enjoying his character. Like he could take at times he does at the end where the people all come back and he's got the gun on. It's like the corniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so cringy, but like it had to be done, right? Like you had to have this good people come back and they block off the exit of the guys. It was very cringy, but it had to be done. The seaweed monster reminded me of Pizza the Hut. I couldn't get it out of my head from
Swamp Thing and Pizza the Hut.
I could not get that out of my head. Like once I had it in my head, I couldn't get it out.
Did he my brains because I didn't obviously rewatch that one again. Did he die at the end when the ship crashed?
Seemingly his whole ship slammed into the side of a mountain or whatever.
There's no way he would probably burn the fastest of everyone there, right?
Well, Pizza the Hut ate himself when he was locked in his limo, so maybe he ate his own seaweed. Okay. One that I thought was pretty big is that Moff Gideon obviously was a protection because he said Moff Gideon ain't around here. So like we know now Moff Gideon was into a whole bunch of different stuff, apparently.
I think that's where his the TIE fighters came from in one of the early episodes.
I thought the outpost, the whole scene with the outpost was really cool. I thought they could have done a really corny job with that. And it was just a bunch of dudes who fly jets hanging out doing what they do. I mean, it could have been Tom Cruise and the boys. So I thought that was pretty good. I thought I don't want to see the double agent for a while. It was a little bit heavy-handed. She always happened to be in the right place, which they're supposed to be. But at some point, you got to be like, hey, why are you always here when we're having private conversations? You're always extremely opinionated and seem to turn everyone's head. So I just thought the double agent is getting a little bit heavy-handed. The one thing I will say is the droid gives away the super secret base location, but they didn't immediately destroy it. They should have put a bolt in the back of that droid's head immediately after they found out that he was just giving away the location of where they are. Like, I was surprised. I was like, okay, somebody didn't immediately just end this droid's life. Like, what's going on? He's like, thanks. And droid just goes back and about his business. And I was like, what in the world?
Don't forget, that droid's a Force user, so leave him be.
So the other thing I was happy about is when they had their little, like, who gets to hold the hoka stick and gets to talk in the circle.
Yeah.
And finally they stood up, and the Mandalorians aren't acting like little bitches anymore. They're like, dude, we're freaking Mandalorians. Let's go kick somebody's ass. I was like, thank God, finally, like, you're gonna go be what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
The fight scenes I thought were pretty cool. I thought the actual to me where this team excels is in the up in the air scenes, the ship fighting. I think they always do an amazing job with the ships.
Yeah, that highlight for sure.
Now,
of the season, the highlight has been that.
I question how this pirate, maybe he wasn't a big and bad, maybe he just talked trash, but he got basically beat up by one dude in the air and a bunch of like other people on the ground. Like, he lost. Yeah. He didn't seem to have a good game plan.
When you have the biggest ships and the biggest fleet, you don't really need to back it up with anything. You just have to be there, right? And once you get your ship wrecked, you go, uh-oh.
Did that guy get away? That one that was like...
Yeah, the main guy got away, who I thought died in the first episode, so I was surprised.
All right.
He got away. He hightailed out of there.
So he'll be back. He'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, quick to suddenly... Oh, I guess that was just... It went from like... I don't know, it just seemed quick. Like, it seemed like there was a story issue that maybe we missed, because it just seemed like she was like here, and then she would suddenly take off your helmet, and it wasn't a lot of hesitation there. It was just like, yeah, okay, why am I taking my helmet off? And I was like, whoa, we just
yeah.
And can I ask another question? If I take off my helmet and you're like, hey, go wash yourself in the bath, okay, go take a bath, and I fly over to Mandalore, I take a bath, and then I come back, and 10 minutes later I get drunk, I take off my helmet again. All I have to do is just fly back to Mandalore and take another bath again. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of loophole here. Like, I got to do more than just take a bath.
You could probably only do it once. You can only once, only one.
I hope so, because I'm like, you can just do this all the time. Then you just do.
I thought she was tricking her. Like, I thought she was gonna go psych.
That would be really funny. She's like, take your helmet off, and she's like, wait here. Leaves the room, brings everyone in. Why is your helmet off? Why?
And it just seemed like it was fast. And
what happens if you go off to the side to go to the washroom or something? You go to eat your food, take your helmet off, and then you're over there eating, and then someone stumbles up. A couple of them stumble upon you having your lunch, and they see you with your helmet off. You're screwed, or you?
Yeah, or what if it's a bully?
Away, like, we didn't see nothing. Like,
what if it's like one of those movie tropes where there's like one guy who really wants to be the top one, but he knows the other guy is like a little bit better than him, so he waits for him to take his helmet off, and he comes around the corner and goes, "Oh, I see you with your helmet off." Like, is there some kind of rule about that? I'm gonna tell. She might be playing both. Yes, she might be. But she seemed pretty quick to like, hey, let's, she said the new age because she saw the beast, so maybe she truly believed there's a new age.
Maybe she's checking. Yeah, maybe she's playing her to take advantage of a lot of stuff from her and then take it at the end. Who knows?
And the last thing, obviously, I was going to say was what Kaching had already said. The last scene was awesome, and that they confirmed that Moff Gideon he's out there roaming the streets somewhere. Like, that was confirmed right there. He's roaming them streets. The one thing I was going to say though is it's going to be a lot more in the next one. There was another cameo in this one, and this cameo was a famous comedian. Me and you talked about it.
Yeah.
It takes me out of it, guys. It does. Like, he was like, they had a little moment where the droid just threw down his his like orders or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, don't put those there. You can stay. No, you can." And it just seemed like we were searching for like a funny liner or something. Sorry, and it kind of took me out of it because I just know him as like a funny comedian, so I was waiting for like one-liners. So, all right, so we're off to the best episode so far, episode 6.
right.
What do you got?
Guns for hire. So
Speaking of comedians,
okay, so should we? Okay, how do we do?
the start was so freaking
wait,
cringy, man.
Before that, sorry, what was your score for the last episode, Kachin?
Oh, I
Oh,
put
yeah.
8.4.
8.4. Yep,
that's
I
pretty
give it a solid 8 as well, 8 to 9,
Yeah.
somewhere there.
8 is pretty good for me. I think so. Yeah.
Yes, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So next one. So Kachun, what was cringy about this episode? I don't
You
quite
got something
understand.
cringy about it, bro? Like what?
I mean, it was like Princess Bride. Like, a
First off,
squid-
whoa,
squid
whoa,
is-
shots fired. Where's my kick him out of Princess Bride? Don't you dare put this a masterpiece like Princess Bride up to this episode. How dare
No,
you?
just,
sir?
it had that, twee love kind of thing with the.
And hey, at least they're both aquatic species. You gotta give it.
That's right, a squid and a
Well,
shrimp.
and obviously, it was pointed out after the episode came out. People pointed it out, which was fun. Was that guy was the same bounty from the season 1? That Grief is like, oh, we have really high bounty on this politician's son here, and I show him, and it's the same kid.
Right.
It's the same guy.
Yeah, and that's cute. But what I sent to you, even though I sent you something drunk that was like left, right, turn blue. I don't know what I texted you. But what I meant to text you is, why does this even exist? Like, why was this even here? I don't understand why it was even there.
I think it was for what's it called? Like maybe it was for the fact that there's still groups out there who are paying money to the empires, like remnants, like like protection money, and that also to just remind us that what's his name has that fleet of ships.
Yeah.
I
guess it needed to
Wolf.
be there, but
What's his name? Axel Wolf.
It didn't. He's over here playing the good guy. He did not need to be in there. You could have just landed with the fleet and
Yeah, they could have just continued. I was just saying that, trying to give you the reasoning to why they would do it.
I mean, I did like the fact that, I actually liked it. Like, I thought it was actually done pretty well, considering that's some interesting characters. I like the fact that she was in the water tube.
Yes,
that was
the little fish thing was kind of weird, but that's fine. Like, I thought
I
that
was like,
was a
she
little
could
bit overdone. But I liked how she dropped in there and they dropped the water tube. Now, I did have a question though. How come she gets the water tube? Does that mean everybody has a water
She's
tube?
the captain. She's the captain. She can.
They gotta go. They gotta go use the bath, and everyone has to use it.
It's the rationing. They take a cup over the top of the water, and they just spread it out.
So
it's just a public one. Where everyone's in it.
And I do like them because they have a pretty good history in Clone Wars. So I do like those two species.
Yeah,
and it was done pretty well considering what it is, and for a TV show with the budgets and everything. It just seemed kind of weird in this place. Like, it was just kind of
dialogue
didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Now, outside of that, now we go into the actual juicy cringe, the actual awkward cringe. This episode, I can do a cameo from a celebrity or whatever. Quick minor role, but as long as they're not playing themselves and doing a part. But when you have very specific people who are like, when they come in a part, you know who they are.
Right.
They're there for them and like stuff. You have 3 people show up in the span of a minute. It's a much. It's way too much. It
was.
I like Jack Black. I think he could probably play a fun character. He could probably play an alien, some fun alien. But having him just be there as this guy who's like ruling this planet with Lizzo.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's just too much going on.
I thought all 3 of them could have played the characters they played. It would have been fine. Jack Black was a little much for me, to be honest with you. All 3 of them could have done it. I just don't think they could have done it in the same episode at the exact same time on the exact same screen.
Yep.
Well, it seemed like the goal was to have them there to the crowd to acknowledge who I'm looking at. Like, they never were designed for you to kind of forget they're famous. It was
like they weren't designed as characters; they were designed as caricatures.
They seemed like their whole point was for you to know these 2 famous people are here. It wasn't like, oh my god, is that so and so? Like, it was in your face, like, mwah! Like it was there.
Which is why Christopher Lloyd's character was better, because he actually was more like a character in the episode. He wasn't just like he was actually in there. He made sense. He could have. I mean, Could better for sure. But I
Can we
mean,
just talk about the fact motivation seemed weird, reasoning seemed weird, the whole plan
don't
seemed
read the
weird.
resolution of the episode with that
Yeah,
either.
it was just that was the biggest, MrGarrell Gaming. I play a lot of Star Wars games. That seemed the biggest video game side quest I've ever seen in my entire life. And it actually could have been
and
cool.
The bad one, the one you go, I might skip this one. I might skip this quest.
And it could have been cool because you have two people who are kind of going around the city almost as detectives. But it was so weird of where they're going. We're in a hurry. Stop. We have no choice. We didn't look for an alternative. We didn't just walk out the front door and say,
that was the thing. They don't just leave. Like,
just
what are they
went
going to do?
with it.
Stop us? They don't have any militia. They don't have any
No,
army. We're
they just
talking to
went
the
with it.
army. We're going to go talk to them.
They were very obedient.
It's not like,
They
oh,
were.
we've locked the city down. Like, the city has been locked down because of these droids. No one can enter or leave the city.
And maybe they said that I just didn't hear, but I didn't hear
No, they
that.
did not.
I didn't
They
hear
did
that.
not.
So that was kind of weird to me because I was like, why are you going on this quest? Like, do we get a special armor at the end of it? Like, what's happening? You get a special gun? Like, what is the reasoning for this quest?
And then, just having Grogu. And Grogu literally was like, okay, we just got to get rid of Grogu this episode because they were not planning him there for sure. And they just let him just sit there with the couple.
Yep.
God.
He started playing that
And
game.
before you even
flipping
say the
around.
next thing, when I saw the bar, I said, this is so stupid. This is so on the nose. I enjoyed it because I like droids. But I was just thinking right now, the stupid shit-eating grin that's on Hoosier's face right now about this droid bar is going to be so... I'm just glad we don't watch it together. I'm glad we don't have a watch party because he had to have been just so giddy about this droid bar.
You know I was. You know I was.
It wasn't just a bar. It was a saloon.
Saloon, buddy.
It was.
They were drinking that good old gasoline. No, well, I like that. Yeah, for me, the only aspect of the episode I liked was that droid bar. It was a fun little moment. You go in there, these droids are just
drinking the same oil.
Yeah, the same oil, and then and the bartender clicking through all the little things. They're asking for chips and I mean that was just fun. It was just a fun Star Wars moment.
It was a very Star Wars thing. If you hate on that, then you don't watch enough Star Wars. That was a very corny Star Wars thing.
For me, that was the best part of the episode was that droid bar scene. I did like seeing the B1s again, and hearing the voice was fun and live, and seeing it live action. I do think the super battle droids look very weird. Because they're super wide.
Why was is he drunk? Was Mando drunk? Because he's not himself. He's not acting like himself. He's not questioning anything. And then he just starts sidekicking the damn robots for no explanation.
That was so funny. He just starts kicking them. Like, why would you do that to my friends?
And then I'm like, what is he doing? But you know what I did like about it? When they were showing all the scenes from around the place, and it was like people are, different bots or different droids are malfunctioning. Yeah. The one that I always say, I don't give a crap how used to it I am. The day that I sit 2 feet away from a droid that's got 6 arms with cleavers on it, and those arms are 8 feet long, and I'm only 2 feet away, that ain't happening, brother. Like, I'm not sitting that close to that droid.
The sushi droid,
that one malfunctioned. It was I laughed so hard because that means somebody else thought that, and they said, it's gonna be funny. Let's get that chef droid because it's got all those flinging arms and also you hear people scream, ah! Like it was
the one I got in the car just drove it straight into the wall.
Yeah, it was so great. Like that part was great.
And then again, the only aspect I liked was Christopher Lloyd's. I thought it was okay, but it could have been much better. But it was good for what it is. I wish he would have been a better character. He probably would have been better as a different character entirely too. But they did what they did.
I think Christopher Lloyd would have been, like I said, he would have been great if it wasn't he was sharing the screen to me with 2 others. That
was the thing. It's not as if there wasn't too many people here.
It almost took me that scene where Grogu was playing that game and flipping around like his flippy puppet.
Can we hold the baby?
It was like Thor: Love and Thunder.
Like I said, at this point, guys, we got to start using CGI. No more throwing the puppet.
Throw the baby. Throw the baby. Well, what's so funny is, there's really funny because the first episode, remember when the IG droid's attacking him and Mando literally just throws Grogu towards Grief? It looks the exact same as if,
it's because it's exactly the same thing. That's what they're doing.
Which makes it even funnier. The fact
because it's like, I don't know. It's just we need some CGI on Grogu. This is getting a little silly now with the robot with the puppet throwing. Yeah. So the whole thing kind of was weird. I felt like it was made to have cameos because I don't really understand why it was even there. Honestly, it was cool to see people reuse the droids. It was interesting because they basically made Wally's world, where without the droids, the humans wouldn't have known what to do with themselves. So I thought that was an interesting take. Yeah. I don't know. If they don't ever come back, which I'm assuming they won't, hoping they won't. It just seemed kind of weird because the whole point was they're like 100 yards out there. Just go out the door and talk to them. But anyway, so is there anything else as they're inside the Dome City? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Inside the Dome City, okay. I was gonna say what was gonna be now the other aspect of the episode that brings it right down for me, at least.
What?
What's gonna be after the dome when they leave the dome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kachuk, do you have anything while they're inside the dome before we move on to the outside of the dome? The meat on the bones?
No, not really.
All right. So if you don't mind, I will push the rock to the edge of the cliff, and then you can shove it the rest of the way if you want to. So she goes out, and I thought was pretty awesome. She goes out and says, "Hey, listen, brother." She gets the microphone. That's not going to work for me, brother. You, me in the ring right now.
Oh, sorry. Wait, I just remembered. One other moment in the dome. I just forgot. Again, because there's so much shit going on. Well, the reason why is because all the Ugnaughts. We forgot about those guys when they go to the workers' court.
Yeah, that was kind of corny too. I mean, it was fine.
Do you like the fact that they go? We don't have it. No one works here. We only have droids that work because we're such a great society. But then you have the little Ugnaughts under the ground, so deep down there working on the machine.
Yeah. And I did like that he said, I have spoken, and that was kind of like,
So I like that they made that aspect part of that species. That it wasn't just him; it was the whole species does that.
Yeah. So anyway, at the top, she challenges boy. They fight. She beats him. And for everyone who's like really weirded out by Bo-Katan, all I would say this is go watch the Clone Wars. She's a badass in the Clone Wars. She's a warrior. She was built and bred to be a warrior. She is probably one of the only people that I've seen that is like old school Mandalorian, was made to be an old school Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're like overshadowing Mando necessarily, because this is who she is. This is what she was supposed to be from the beginning.
The reason why we all were very excited.
She was born to be this person, to be the leader, to be a badass, to fight, to do whatever she has to do. So it's not surprising that she's a badass.
In contrast to her sister, who was complete opposite.
Yeah, who was there to do that. Like that was the point. Then we have the moment. I made a video discussing who was the real owner of the Darksaber because of this. Because the moment this moment happened, I said, "Holy bejesus, the Pandora's box just got opened fully, and they got to do a lot of explaining." And it was, "Here, take this sword. I can't take it. Yes, you can. Listen to me. I was beat by a guy. She beat the guy. Doesn't that make her the owner of the Darksaber?" And they're like, yeah, it does. That's it. That's all the evidence we need in the courtroom today. And I was sitting there going, oh my God, what have you done? What have you just done, Star Wars? What have you just done? Wow. Because like we talked about it beforehand. I asked him to come on a little bit earlier. He was trapped by a cage.
Yeah. Okay, so they didn't ask him any details. So how do he beat you? Oh, you walked into a cage. He caught you in a cage and knocked you out. Mm-hmm. He didn't even fight you at all. Not once.
Yeah. He trapped him in the cage. Now she whipped his ass clear. Like she that was a good fight. You see the Darksaber in her hand. She's amazing with it. She whipped that thing's butt. But the fact of the matter is when you go, if you go look at the video I made, if you go to the comment section, I said I was going to do a pinned comment just pointing out that I loved all the comments. I think they were awesome. But everybody was like, no, this is the reason why I believe they're the Darksaber. And they contradicted everyone else. And that's because that is the mess that Star Wars has done with this. They've never said that you can pass it down from generation to generation. But clearly there had to have been. Unless House Vizsla was just like when you turn 16, you just turn around and punch your dad in the mouth. Like other
Well,
than
the
that, I don't
classic,
know.
you're killing Caesar, right? You kill him the new.
But if they
Roman
do
emperor.
that, that's amazing. By the way, if they do that, at 16, you're like, you ready to challenge me, boy? He's like, yeah, Dad. I've been waiting for this moment.
Every year on his birthday, you want to challenge me? Huh? You
Yeah,
today?
challenge me again. It's like what is that Seinfeld thing? The holiday that he says. I got a lot of problems with people.
Festivus.
Yeah, the Festivus. It's like that. It's like the Festivus of Grievuses. And like every year you're like, Dad has a beer in the backyard. He's like, you ready to challenge me for the Darksaber? I think I'm gonna get it this time, Dad. And, take it easy on him, Ron. Like, so yeah, it opens up a lot of questions are going to have to be answered with this.
Because the thing is with the Darksaber, all I've been established, you have to win it in combat. But the thing is, like, the Free Viz was the first one we saw with it, and then Darth Maul challenged him to a duel for Mandalore, to which he earned the Darksaber. After that, it's like, well, this person beat this person. No one really, because Darth Maul still held the Darksaber all the way. Even he got defeated multiple times by Palpatine, Ahsoka. He made it all the way through with it until Sabine took it from Maul, but didn't fight him for it.
She didn't take it from him. He like put it down on a table and she
stole it. She stole it from him. So then how is then technically speaking, like, she didn't win in combat, so then like it's all a mess. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's
Maul
a mess.
technically still the only person who owns it because he didn't.
But for the people, like, there's people in the comments said that it's Maul's. Here's the problem though, because the show that we just watched says that if you beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy, it's yours. So when you have that rules is out, because the first fight was actually Vizsla fought Kenobi. Kenobi whipped his ass, and I know it was Kenobi, so everyone was like, yeah, of course G's gonna find a way to put Kenobi and everything. But Kenobi took him out. So if it's just a fight the guy, then it was Kenobi's. If it's official challenge, which I believe it should be, I think it should be an official
declaration with witnesses
to the thing.
Yeah.
But then you gotta tell us that. And they might tell us that, but as of right now, they haven't told us that. But I think what could actually help with this situation is that untold thing they're not talking about, right? The fact that some people have a hard time wielding it. So is that telling us that the Darksaber can kind of pick and choose who they want? Because I have seen somebody talk about in a comment section or something where like he put it down. Maul put it down for a reason, even though it's a very powerful weapon. So maybe he put it down because he was in a hard time wielding it, because the Darksaber said, you know what, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're not the way. You're not this. You're not that. You're not
powerful anymore enough.
Then we got because then it's half picking who it is. The fact that it acts right for Bo and does not act right for the Mando fella, like, that tells you something to me. So I think that right there, I think it can kind of sort of pick and choose who it wants to act right for. And that will answer a lot of questions, but they haven't told us that. So by what we know now, it's a mess.
That was my comment.
Mm-hmm. Now, again, to lead into that, why it makes a mess too, like, now Bo was given it the first time, which is where he divided like the Mandalorians by her being given the saber.
And they blamed her for the night of the
which all led to 9,000 tears, right? And then now here she was given it again. She won it. She was given it essentially. Like, is that going to be brought up by other, like, when she goes back to the clan and Paz Vizsla's there, is he not going to be
challenged?
Is he not going to be angry? He can challenge her right there if he wanted to.
I know, but he challenged Mando for it. Remember, he challenged her for it.
So who says he can't challenge Bo now when she shows back up?
But if you're there, okay, like one of the people that are with her is Sasha Banks from WWE. She's the chick.
She's probably the better cameo. You wouldn't really realize it.
Oh, she's an amazing cameo. But she's a wrestler, so she's used to being silly in front of a camera. But here's the thing: that maybe they're friendly, maybe they're not. But at that point, to me, she should have said, "Bo, do you really just want to hand that? You just want to grab that? I know you beat the guy, but in front of all of us, don't you just want to go ahead and punch him in the throat? Don't you just want to go ahead and just get it over with? Like, are you sure you want to do this whole?" They blamed you for our planet being gone because you took it the first time. I know this guy's saying that, you beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. But wouldn't it be better if you just went ahead and just punched him in the throat and y'all go ahead and fight it out right now? Because Mando could throw the fight if he wanted to. He doesn't
Well,
have
that's
to
what
win
I
the
was
fight.
thinking. Like, I was waiting for the moment where, like, once she starts getting all the Mandalorians together and they're all together now, the whole amount of people they want together, she was going to challenge him in front of them all to make it undisputed. But now it's going to be weird. She comes back with the Darksaber. Why do you have the Darksaber? Oh, well, he lost. Well, we were together and to you, and he still had the Darksaber. Oh, it should have been mine in the first place, and like
it's a mess.
It's gonna be a weird mess to talk about. They're probably not gonna even bring it up. They're just gonna have her have it. But I mean, yeah.
All right. And what about you, Kachong? Did you think that too? Because you said you were gonna say that. Were you saying that you think the Darksaber kind of chooses who it wants?
Yeah, that was my comment I made in your video.
Yeah, you did.
That it kind of chooses its wielder.
And I want to point out, mine has never not lit up. So technically, I'm the true rightful owner of the Darksaber because mine he's obviously choosing to work. It never not lights up. So, all right. So is that it? Is that our review for those 3 episodes?
2 out of 10. Yeah.
Did you say 2 out of 10?
Yeah.
What?
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It opened up so. You know why? It's because it opened up so much nonsense that's going to become a bigger pain in the ass later. And the only good aspect was the droid bar.
I thought the droid bar would have gave you more than 2 just by that.
Maybe a 3. Maybe I'll go 3 just to make it a little more on par.
For me, the droid bar gave.
I gave the ending of Bad Batch a 3, so I'll give this a 3. It's okay.
The droid bar gave it 4. The Darksaber gave it another 2, and I ended up with
a 6.
Yeah.
The fact that he gave it a 6 though is not good.
Yeah.
He's always giving it a point or 2 higher than what the average human being probably thinks.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't have much on here. I just said no, stop the celebrity madness is what I have on here.
Yeah. If the next episode is just 2 cameos or more, it's gonna be good. It's a disaster, dude.
It's hard for me because I want to say it wasn't good, and hopefully there has been. I mean, the episode's already been shot, obviously, but hopefully I've been noticing more so than normal. Even when I go watch some other videos where these people are pretty friendly to Disney. They got free toys and stuff to get. You know what I mean? So free stuff. So they don't want to go too crazy on Disney. They were kind of like, yeah, the cameo was a little heavy-handed. Like it was a little much. So maybe this sends out a thing like, be cool. It's Star Wars. You can always put him in a robot. You can always put him in a suit. You don't have to make it so obvious.
Jack Black would have been the perfect alien.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Dexter, the bar, the guy who owns the bar, the restaurant. Sorry, that'd be a perfect Jack Black species character role.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 5, and honestly, I think it should probably be lower than that. I'm just not gonna go lower than that because I don't really see anything redeeming out of this other than I like the way the first part was shot. I like the funness of it, what they were trying to do with that city. Like they were trying to do a fun thing. They were trying to make it bright and fun. I like the take on it. That's not a normal Star Wars thing. But as soon as you started to get used to it, then that's when the nonsense stuff that didn't really make sense, like the whole motivation was weird. It felt like CSI, where they had like this much evidence, but then they found the etching of the shoot in somebody's glasses. It was just weird. Also, they found it. Like it was just kind of weird. So I'm gonna go with 5, not just to be a complete 2 hater. And I'll
go 3. I'll put it a 3.
Okay.
Round it up with Bad Batch.
I'll go 5. So that's not good.
Look, if I compare my score with my Bad Batch scores, there's only 5 Bad Batch episodes worse than this one.
Only
that 5. Tells you that this score might have been a little high, my friend, because it's pretty bad.
There was some bad Batch.
All right, so that's it. Do we have news and stuff today?
We do, because past weekend was Star Wars Celebration, and there was a lot of news, toy releases, and
so there's
slides. Yes, the slides are done.
There are slides done.
Yeah. Slides are done. I don't know.
I had to do it.
On.
I had to do it for
not professional, but man, are we trying to be here now? Like I was sitting for 30 minutes doing nothing. Did I add this new slides into the StreamYard? No, I didn't bother with it. Why would I? Okay, so
72.
I'm assuming is it episode 72? Sorry.
Yep. Slide 72.
I have to add it for some reason. I'm not sure why I have to add it.
That's
72.
Yeah. I gotta sit there and I gotta do the math and figure out what number the holiday special is gonna be.
We might. We may get to 100.
It's gonna be.
If episode 100 lands in December, we're doing the holiday special, no matter what, and we're ending it there. All right. News. So, the biggest news of Celebration was the Ahsoka trailer dropping with a poster here. Honestly, I couldn't have been more surprised by that trailer. What they showed was a lot more than I thought they would show for like the first trailer.
Too much.
That's a lot.
They showed too much.
Given that it's like they don't have a date. It's August this year. It doesn't have a number. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and it actually made me very excited to watch it. Given how Mandalorian's kind of been this season.
Yep.
Here's my theory. There was some.
Filoni put all of his love into this one, opposed to this.
There's some spoilers. There were some releases. Accidental, whatever. I don't think Disney does anything accidental. I think there were some leaks. I think they realized when they leaked them to the people who they thought were going to be like, "Hey, this is great," what they were announcing. I think they knew that it wasn't going to be well received. So I think they went full blown Ahsoka because they knew this was awesome. So people would go, "Oh my gosh, did you see that trailer?" And they just ignored some of the garbage that came out after this. I think they just went ahead. This is amazing. Like I couldn't find. I get other than I think they told us too much because I want to be surprised. I don't like watching trailers. Right. I watched this one. Other than they might have showed us too much. I couldn't find nothing wrong with this. This is gonna be. Now I know I'm way biased about Ahsoka. I get that.
And Rebels. Don't forget, this is essentially the Rebels.
And Rebels. I'm biased about Rebels, Ahsoka, and Kenobi. Those are my weak spots, my blind spots. But we know Dave Filoni. This is his literal favorite, his child, and everything. He's not going to want to mess this up at all. It's Rebels in one, so he's not going to want to play around with this. The more I see her, she's that now. Like I don't know if I would pick her at first. But the more I see her, the more she's Ahsoka. Like she it's fine. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
On top of that, some other announcements. So quickly, I'll say the Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. They have a second season coming. They didn't put any release date at all. They just said it is in the works.
I don't see a rock band. Where's the rock band?
There's Wallace and Gromit.
So Vision Season 2, Volume 2 is coming out May 4th to drop on the whole thing as they did before. There's a trailer with all the different studios' creations there. There's a couple that look really interesting, specifically the first one, which is that guy in the front bottom there. The Wallace and Gromit studio one, that's really weird. I am probably most interested in that one. But there's another one there. The art is the one on the top right, the redhead one. That one looks pretty interesting.
The art looks interesting. It's like
I think this will be good. Like last time where there's some really good stuff and there's some weird things going on, but I can't wait to do a review of this.
This has been firmly put on this is outside of Star Wars.
Yes.
This is just basically fan fiction that we're allowing to happen.
This is just fun.
And so I think no matter what they do is cool. Like even if I didn't like it, I thought it was weird. It has nothing to do with it. Just enjoy it for what it is. And I think I think that's cool that they're even doing that, to be honest with you.
It's probably the best. It's probably one of the better ideas they've had in a while.
Yeah.
It's really a great concept. But also, like they said, any of the stories that turn out really good, they can make them into stuff. Like they took the one Ronin, made it into a book, and then into a comic right now.
Yeah.
Tell the Jedi, I'm good with this. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I
hope it's more diverse. It's more like 2 episodes on a certain Jedi and doing 2 episodes on another, opposed to
who came out looking like a champ. They got to stop making some of these bad guys always have these backstories. Sometimes they just got to be evil.
I will happily take my Dooku as that.
I'm getting itchy though, so hopefully we're getting. There's a lot of positivity happening right now. I'm getting a little itchy.
And before you click the next slide, there was another thing here I didn't include because of space. Was Bad Batch? They announced season 3 is the final season of the show. At the thing, they actually did apparently show a quick sneak peek teaser for it, and in that teaser, they had Wolf. Commander Wolf was there as well as Fennec Shand. So presumably, I'm wondering if this is the last season. We're gonna get Wolf and Gregor with Rex, and it's all gonna lead to them, doing the rebellion that fails.
Killing Omega.
Yeah. I wonder, will they end up killing the Bad Batch or most of them? Because if it's the final season, what are you gonna do?
Spoiler: they kill Omega. Heard it here first.
Now here's on to the big news. That's okay. Before we get to the bad part, talk about the two good things. So Dave Filoni has a movie. And they're finally doing the movie with him, and it's gonna be a culmination of all the live action stuff he's done with Mando, Ahsoka. So I would presume that's supposed to be the heir to the Empire movie, his big, finish.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The other one was actually probably more interesting is James Mangold. He's the director from Logan, Wolverine, and some others. He is doing a movie set in the dawn of the Jedi era, which is a precursor to the Old Republic. Now that sounds really interesting. I wonder what they'll do with that.
Plus, you go that far back, you pretty much do whatever you want to. It's not going to.
Yes. Even in Legends, they didn't really touch on that much. There was like a comics. There was about 2 mini comic series that touched on that era. And it was
what you're telling me is they get a professional director who's actually made movies and put him in an era that's interesting that he can't really mess stuff up, so he can have creative freedom. Weird, odd. Well, hopefully that continues. Please tell us more about these other movies coming up.
And we can go to the next slide. So the last movie, So the last movie is the director Charmaine so-and-so. She directed Ms. Marvel.
So-and-so. I mean, she's not as famous as the one that does Logan and the rest.
Well, yeah. Well, she directed Ms. Marvel. That's her only thing. Everything else she did was smaller budget Pakistani.
That was well received.
Movies. And then she is now directing a continuation. It's not a sequel. It's just a continuation movie of Rey, set in after the events of Episode 9, where she is creating a new Jedi Order. And then that period of time, to which I don't think they streamed that announcement live, if I don't remember correctly, because Daisy went on stage.
Did you hear that they burned down the building with everyone in it? No, they didn't stream it live because they would have burnt the building to the ground.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was the weirdest. Like you could start here with the announcement of the movies. Awesome, movies are back. That James Mangold one sounds very cool. Could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni, awesome. And it's the culmination of all the stuff we've been watching. Even better. And then you bring it way down to this, I
don't understand it. There's nothing about this that's going to work. Even if the movie's good, and I'll tell you why. Because they're setting her up to be hated. Okay, they're setting her up, and the reason being is they're probably going to take from Legends, and they're going to have her follow the path that Luke Skywalker already did. It's my theory, and so that means half the fan base is going to be pissed because you already screwed over Luke Skywalker. Now you're having Rey kind of follow his path, and you're not setting her up to be liked. You're going to make her be bad again. You're going to make people hate her, and you're not going to take the criticism well. And you're gonna say, "Oh, well, it's men and it's this, that, and the other." It's like, no. What you're doing is you're taking what Luke Skywalker did in the books, which I know is not, and you're going to do that. Don't get me started on. Don't get me started on Boyega. Don't get me started. I will lose my mind if I talk about what they did to Finn. I've been on that mountaintop forever. Oh my gosh. Anyways, and I just think you're setting her up again. I feel like they're constantly doing this. The character. The black chick and the Kenobi show, that could have been a really cool character, and they set her up to not ever have the opportunity to be a good character because they knew what they were doing going into it, and you're going to get hate. And I feel like sometimes they do it just antagonize the people who are doing it. Like what's going to happen. This Rey thing, people already didn't like it because it felt like you were replacing Luke Skywalker with her. You didn't have to do it like that, and now they're doing this thing. Oh, he is, and I'm there for it. I'm there to watch him burn it all down. Just read the damn book. Just read the book that you're supposed to read before the movie came out and see what he was supposed to be. Now he's a damn janitor. But anyway,
there's one thing that could be slightly redeeming is if they have Dengar, because it's set in the future. That mutated Dengar.
He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Rothgar Dead is the villain.
It's perfect.
Because I just don't know. Like, and I just feel like sometimes when they do this stuff, I just feel like they're doing it just to show you that we can. Like, we're not going to let you like shame Ray. We're
The
going
only
to
thing,
force
the
feed you another
only
one.
thing that makes me think about this though is the fact that all those movies they announced after the sequels and Rogue One, they announced the what's his name, Taika Waititi stuff, his film, the trilogy from Rian Johnson, Kevin, what's his name, Feige's film, the Rogue Squadron film, and there's another film too they had announced. All have been canceled.
Yeah.
So they go and announce these 3 new movies. The Filoni one's 100% coming out because that's 100% what's going to go. The James Mangold could come out, or could they just cancel it? Who knows?
I think I'll cancel it. It sounds too good. It sounds like it's going to be a
And
good
then
show.
the other one, they could cancel it, or they're probably the only one that's going to release.
You know, the only one
really
that's definitely
bad.
going to release. And that's what I'm saying. They're setting the situation up to make it where she's in a lose-lose situation. I can't wait to read this. I am the true wielder of the Darksaber because I beat up a drunk guy who had a prior beat up a crackhead who had won the staring contest against the stormtrooper who at best they broke a ton of rock, paper, scissors. That sounds just as valid as anything else I've heard.
That sounds like it actually happened.
This is the way. This is the way, brother. This is the way.
Rock, paper, scissors. That's it.
Hey, you
now,
guys.
on to some fun news.
I have never watched a Star Wars movie in the theaters. Not one.
This.
What? Never watched one.
Oh, that makes sense because you said okay. They are re-releasing for the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi. It will be in theaters in the US from April 28th to May 4th. Don't go May 4th. It's probably going to be loud and people are going to be obnoxious. So go on the 29th.
So my question is, should I go watch my first Star Wars movie in a theater?
And if it's this one, that's an amazing choice. Yes.
Well, you're not going to miss anything if you've watched this 100,000 times.
No. What's going to happen is they're going to add some new footage. Probably they're going to have some new audio.
Ewoks eating people.
It's gonna be Palpatine as he's getting thrown in the thing. Look out for my granddaughter, and then
it's true love.
I want
this.
He's gonna yell.
He's gonna yell.
If anybody comes up on this
wielder of the Darksaber as he flies down the thing.
If anybody comes up on this poster, let me know because I need this poster in my life.
It's a cool poster. It almost looks like it was photoshopped by some like amateur though, but it's cool.
I like it.
The
I'm not gonna let you shame me.
If you notice anything here, I might kill myself because it doesn't. It says stay tuned for updates in other regions other than the US and UK. So maybe they'll release it here. Maybe they won't.
Yeah, you guys don't really get them kind of releases, do you?
We get screwed over so hard.
Yeah, you guys do.
So for me, I watched episode 2 and 3 in theaters when they came out, but that was it because I never had the 4, 5, 6. But when they started doing this was fun. Just before Disney bought Star Wars, Lucas was re-releasing the movies in 3D, and he released episode 1 in 3D, and I went to go see it on my birthday. And then I'm like, this is so cool. I can't wait for them to get to the other movies. And then they're like, oh, Disney bought it. We're canceling them all. Canceling the re-releases.
Well, I was lucky enough to see all of them in the
cinema.
I'm just going to leave that up there for a little while longer.
Here's a fun one. So we already had
Whoa, I know we already reviewed it. Did you not get the vibes when they got off the little shuttle and the 2 black droids are waiting for them? Did you not get that moment of killer droids? When Bo-Katan...
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
I was like, oh, we're about to have a fight right here now. I got excited. I was like, oh, we're about to have a fight.
I thought it was going to happen when they landed, and it was like that. I was kind of thinking maybe this planet is just droids. That's why I always had the idea in my head of...
Sorry, it just reminded me of the dark droids. It just reminded me. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, we're about to get a nice fight right here."
So they had the 3 events they did. The events were there. This is a thing they're doing. It's gonna be crossing over the different series. Another thing related called Dark Droids, and what it is again. One second. Wait till you hear this. It's between episode 5 and 6. Where the current series are. Some virus is affecting a ton of droids in the galaxy, and it's starting to turn them haywire into like an army. At the helm of all this is 000 and BT in the Dr. Aphra series. They seemingly are the people who are running the show here.
Oh yeah.
Very cool. Do you also like the fact that Chopper's on the cover? If you look at the bottom right.
He is.
Yeah, honestly, that cover is amazing. Honestly, this is probably gonna be a fun event. I hope it's good. Charles Soule's writing this one as well, but I don't know. The other ones didn't really land.
So what you're telling me is that he threw his wallet at this one. This is on the pull. He will be purchasing this.
On the pull. This one's on the pull.
Are there any like decent variants as well?
They only announced it. We knew there was an event coming, but that was it. Oh, it's also tying into High Republic because of some stuff with the droids there.
Oh.
This one I didn't because they hadn't have a lot of images. Only the one. Basically, Dark Horse was revealing a bunch of stuff they had going on in the pipeline, such as more the Phase 3 of the High Republic Adventures. That Jackson annual, yes, that wasn't the one cover. The Mignola. There was a bunch of other covers they were doing.
Oh, sweet. Oh, is this? And there was Quinlan Voss.
Yes.
News,
So
right?
they also mentioned the fact that they finally showed off the tails of from the Death Star, which actually there's some really fun art where it's like a horror scene. They're doing like a horror tales. So it's basically you see one of the things is Tarkin walking around the Death Star, and he's looking at the reflections of the metal, and he sees what's his name, Saw Gerrera staring him down. He just freaks out for a second. He's like, "Oh my god," thinking about this guy, right? But yeah, then you have the regular the Hyperspace Story series is going to be bringing in Quinlan Voss, which I double checked it. It is the first canon appearance of Quinlan Voss since Legends Comics.
Well, no,
and cover appearance.
We already discussed that he had a cameo, right?
Yes, he has a cameo, but this is his true first appearance.
First appearance. Get it while you can. Get it good.
Yeah, he shows up on the panel of one of the Vaders, as we've already talked about. At the end of the show, they announced the next celebration will be in Japan in 2025, April 18th to 20th.
One of these days, it's going to be in like Frisco, Texas, so I can go to one of these things because I don't travel. So
I will be attending this one.
You're such a nerd.
I was planning to go to Japan at the end of 2024.
Oh my god,
we're doing this. We're gonna be there, but I'll go for one day for the 1 day show.
What a nerd! I mean, I'm gonna give you.
I will report live from Japan for Star Wars Celebration.
All right, well that's it. That's the show.
Nope, that's not the news because I had to break it up because there's so much news. These are the toys that they announced.
No, we don't need to see this.
No. I think you should continue.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
I held off a bit. Don't worry.
I'm
they
glad I don't
showed off the new UCS, the Ultimate Collector Series set for Lego. It is the X-Wing. There's a little weird aspect. Huh?
That's Lego?
Yep, that's the expensive set, like the 600 or whatever, right? The only aspect that's really weird about a lot of people talk about, it's like scale. Like it's scale size. Like it's big. Like obviously Luke isn't meant to go in there. But they have R2 in there, and he looks so tiny if you see.
He does. Look how small he is. That's weird. They should have done that. That's weird.
That was the one weird thing. They finally showed off the 2 display sets. So on the right, you have the throne room set. And on the left, you have the speeder bike chase. Which
that's kind of cool.
The speeder bike chase, would you believe, is a lot more money than the other ones? $20 more.
Oh.
Mind you, it's missing. There's no Ewoks in that, which is weird. But the speeder bikes are pretty cool.
Go back.
Go ahead.
Isn't it weird that there's no child? It's an adult.
Oh, these are
it's not.
These are the adult display sets. 100%.
Trust me. When I'm going around looking for toys, I'm elbowing other adults and never children down those aisles. Toys are like $40 these days. Kids ain't going down the aisle, son.
And this is another one. So they have another helmet release. It's the Phase 2 helmet with the Ahsoka's Garrison.
I'm so glad these are over $100 because I don't justify anything over 100. If they were like 75 or 80, I would be buying so many more of these. But for some reason in my head, I'm like $100. Bro.
The paint job is really cool on the helmet. It actually looks it looks realistic too. It's not like weathered.
I used to have this one friend that supposedly got one and he was going to paint it for me, but then he never did. So I mean, it's not really important who it was.
Did you still get it, or he just didn't give it to you either?
Nah, I just didn't bother sending it to me.
This is a little chopper. He's about 7-8 inches tall, I believe, and it's like a talker droid. So you move him around. You can drive him around. He makes the noises. His hands move. Pretty cute.
Yeah, that's more legit. Cool. That's kids.
which means it's not as cool. If the kids are playing with it, that means it's not as collectible.
It's not even great.
I'm a sucker for Chopper and the Rebels, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I can't wait to see how many war crimes he commits in the new series. This I had to because they also showed off. And I say a lot. I mean, like, God forbid, how many Black Series they showed off. But I want to show that one left because it was kind of fun. It's a box set of them from Return of the Jedi.
Is that their clubbing robes? Like, why?
That's their discotheque robes when they go to the disco.
Nice. That looks pretty cool.
They better glow in the dark.
Better glow in the dark.
It does not. That's what.
So basically, a couple of things of note. So they had a lot mentioned. They did a lot of Return of the Jedi announced ones for the anniversary, as well as a bunch of random Black Series. They had a whole Bad Batch set from season 2. Not going to bring that one up, but they mentioned here specifically a General Grievous as a GameStop exclusive, which is a pretty big one. It looks like Obi-Wan again, and then more Darth Vaders. Qui-Gon Jinn from the Kenobi series. It's probably gonna look just like this. Some different clone troopers, pre-Vizsla as well, which will be definitely on Kachin's pull list.
Yes.
As well as a vintage collection version of pre-Vizsla, Grand Inquisitor, Thrawn, and Director Krennic and Revan are also in development. You can find all these now for pre-order and everything, except for the last bit that were the vintage collection. They're still working on those. Then this was revealed today, so I had to add in there. It's a little fun. Cobb Vanth.
So expensive when you buy them in twos, though. I hate it. I hate dropping that big money.
I forgot to put this in. You see, it's cardboard there, but they finally did it. They finally said, we're done with this. We're not making money. We have now figured out how to use biodegradable plastic, so we can bring the plastic back.
They did not care about the environment. They just didn't want to spend money on the plastic anymore. I'm going to grab my foil cap and I'm going to put it right on here, is that you will get this plastic. Then they would say, unfortunately, because the environment sorely needs this plastic out of it, we're going to have to up the $5 on each toy.
I will believe that. That'd be so bad. I would not
be surprised. They're going to do it. I'm telling you. It might not be $5. It might be like $1 or $2, but they're going to increase it for that plastic.
Yeah, probably. And
this guy's super cool. I wouldn't mind having that. Of course, I already have this guy in several different figures because that is one of my faves.
Yeah.
It's that they're like $20-$30. So when you get them together like that, you're dropping $60. It's just
it's gonna be 50 because you gotta save a little for the duel, you know.
Oh, that hurts my soul to drop that on there.
That would be the news. For new comics, we have the Bounty Hunters 33.
What the hell is going on in the background? Go through this faster because I'm about to end this. What is happening behind this?
Bounty Hunters 33. The regulars on the left, very inspired by some.
That is that's the first full appearance of Inferno Squad.
Nope, it is not.
It's not
32.
Oh, it was.
This is their first cover appearance on the A cover. On the A cover. Yeah,
and you get them 32s apparently. 32s.
And 32 is the first full, and 33. They have a first cover appearance. The team has a first cover appearance on issue 32 on a variant, but this is the first like A cover you can get them on.
Which
mind you, she was already on the Revelations cover, but you know.
Yeah, that's right.
She was just on the cover of that. She was on the inside. And then you have the 11 out of 40 of the anniversary for Return of the Jedi.
And this is what
Yoda had too much to drink. Yoda had too much to drink.
Scene that they had to add in because they knew that the kids wouldn't believe that Darth Vader was actually his father, so they had to write this in. Seriously, I saw an interview with Daddy Lucas. He said that they were having issues with testing, that the kids weren't believing that he really was that, so they had to put a dying word in. We confirmed it when he said, "Yes, he is your father." And I thought that was interesting because the kids were like, "You can't believe Darth Vader. He's the bad guy. He lies." So you can believe the little green puppet though. He doesn't lie. He's good.
He doesn't lie. He's just drunk right now. He's going to bed.
And he breathes sweet. Oh, that fucking thing is sweet.
Yeah, so Dr. Alpha 30.
Nice.
On the left there, still dealing with the end of the Hidden Empire.
We got the spark at this stage.
Yep, and then number 12 of 40, Obi-Wan giving Luke the talk.
Vibes.
I'm
giving
not
them
feeling those. I don't know why.
No, they look horrible. They're stupid as hell. They should be stopping this. 40 fucking variants of this stupid shit they're doing
every single time.
Yeah,
This is giving me creepy vibes. This is giving me like, hey, don't tell anybody we had this conversation. You know, the one in the middle.
here's a
It's giving
lollipop.
me like,
Here's a
Luke,
lollipop. Don't talk about that.
hey, these conversations we have out here in the woods, they're just for us. Don't tell anybody we're having them. That's
When I say the force flows through you, don't tell
yeah.
anyone else
It's
that.
giving me creeper vibes. I'm just gonna say that. Right
That was a good Momoko though. That
was one of the better ones. Yes, I
very
like
rarely
that.
like Momoko.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's abstract and it's a girl, and she does
And
that
it's
really
domain
well. Like,
attack.
that's what she does.
Yep. Then you have the High Republic next issue. On the left, the A cover. On the right is the B. That's a weird looking B cover, guys.
I just need them to start making aliens instead of making them like Saturday morning school. They all are nice. Like they don't give them enough edge to their aliens on the High Republic for me.
I don't know what the interiors look like at that right now, but
sorry,
that's ruin it. How do the interiors look like of this new? This is the second the relaunch of the.
There's like devil bears going on. Yeah. This is scary.
So here we go. We've already looked at these ones.
We already told the whole story behind what's going on here.
Yeah, we already know. And here's the best part. I forgot to mention. This better be on one of your guys' pull list. That's the A cover on the left. There is a 1 in 100 variant of this, which is that same cover but the virgin version. So it's just the Ewoks.
Oh,
you can keep that. I don't need
1 in 100. Why you just get the A cover and it's the same thing.
I take some scissors and cut the top off.
Yeah, right.
The X-Acto knife. No, let's do it right. Have some class. Don't use scissors. X-Acto knife. Make a straight line.
No. That's what you got. You can't be straight with these guys. So yeah, Ewok left, A cover. In the middle is the connecting variant, the palace. On the right is the poor horsey that's going to be eaten after that fruit is finished.
Oh, so telling him. You think he's eating that fruit? He's not. He's telling him, I'm going to squeeze this fruit on you, and you're going to be amazing.
This is the zest. This is nice zesting.
Yes, this is like, oh, it's going to be great.
It's actually part of the donkey he's eating.
It's just the donkey. And then these are the
seriously, if this fruit was here and this horse thing was there, it'd be like, hey, can I get one? Instead, it has the biggest, like, this fool is going to juice
Eeyore.
me.
He has the Eeyore face going right now. And these are the two other variants that we didn't see before. The Kyle Hotz on the left with the the Ewoks going crazy. And what's funny is that monster is from that Ewoks movie, those Ewoks film.
That guy's got the PTSDs. He got big.
Yeah. And on the right, the right's kind of fun looking.
It is. It reminds me of the cartoon. I think they did out the Ewok cartoon.
They look possessed.
They've been eating the shaman shrooms right there. Look at that. They're all in the flames. Like, yeah, you see it in the flames. It dances. Oh, yeah. Jesus!
I had Kachun made that beautiful art. I couldn't let it go to waste.
Outrageous.
I might just keep using that for every new release segment.
We won't be doing that. All right. Well, that's it. I think that's going to be it. Next week, what are we doing, gentlemen?
Episode 7 review of
episode 7. Hopefully, the Canadian doesn't cancel like he has been doing.
By the way, if I remember correctly, yeah, this episode is 53 minutes, so it's a lot longer than the previous. It's the previous couple. So the last one was 46 minutes, 44, and then 33. So it's gone. It went back up. So
good.
Well, all right. I want to thank you, everybody, for watching, and always sub up so you never miss a thing. And catch us next week if you want. And have a great night.
Ciao.